I came back to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And I earned the right to do that by winning the Royal Rumble. I came back to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And I earned the right to do that by winning the Royal Rumble. 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 By winning the Royal Rumble.
Come on in and sit down. You cut the hardcore crew chewing the fat. You cut us shooting the shit. You cut us in the moment.
I've seen a couple Memphis matches, not the USWA, because they technically WWE owns some of those because but they're old.
The classic stuff they can't touch.
Oh
like
yeah,
the Lawler Dundee shit. Vince wants it, he can't. They won't sell it.
Oh yeah, the Lawler Austin Idol, Tommy Rich in there. Oh sheesh, man. I mean that's a shit that you want in your library as much as possible.
Now, let me ask you guys. Right now, we're in the moment, and I'm going to tell you, what if, Vince did buy TNA? I mean, we've been talking about we'll talk about TNA possibly going under, about all the about what's been going on with TNA, about everybody leaving, from Hernandez, from Chris Sabin, from AJ Styles. We have several executives leaving, guys. And now we're also talking about Spike, TNA not re-signing with Spike because they're trying to go find maybe a cheaper network to go with. What do you guys think about this? Do you really think TNA is really going under? Joe?
Hold on. Let me spit in my hands and rub it together because this is my favorite topic. We all know how much I love TNA.
TNA's biggest fan.
Yeah. Or the TNA anti-fan. And then again, it's not the problem with the talent. I think they got some very good talent in there.
They're doing it.
And the problem is, again, management. If WWE bought TNA, okay, if WWE bought TNA, forget it. What will happen is they'll take the former TNA, former WWE talent that went over to TNA. They'll keep that library. Everything else, they'll just shove it where it belongs, in the toilet. They'll take all the talent that they feel is worthy of bringing in and slap them in NXT. Everybody else from certain knockouts, from some talent. Okay, I can tell you one thing right now. EY will never, ever, either he won't be in WWE at all, or they'll make sure he changes his complete look. Abyss, the same thing. Either they don't hire him, or they just change his look completely. So that's the only thing you'll see out of WWE buying it. Right now, TNA is suffering so bad with finances, and they can say, no, we're doing fine. Dixie's selling herself in the corner. She's sending pornographic film to Andy. Whatever. Pretty much, we all know they're failing. They lost so much good talent so far. If Vince bought it, the best thing he could do with it, forget about a TNA versus WWE invasion. You could just set the job squad from WWE to squash the TNA people. I just say, Vince, buy it, sell some of that library from your old talent, and flush the rest of it down.
Well, let's welcome in Will. Will, how we doing?
Slow than an ox.
Well, we're just talking about what would happen if TNA, it looks like they're going under, if the WWE actually bought them out. Simple and short to the point. But, obviously they're going to be put up on the market pretty soon. There's also another person who obviously could want to buy them, and, Jeff Jarrett, keep in mind, is a shareholder. What do you guys think? I mean, do you think he would just, want to say, hey, before Vince, you buy these, I'm going to want these. I'm going to want, I'm going to want them part of the company. How do you think this would work out? Lance, what do you think?
I pretty much think, honestly, I don't think TNA is a big enough company to where Vince would want it, because, well, I mean, yeah, he could make a few bucks on the catalog, like his old talent, Sting, some other legends, and maybe some of the matches TNA is known for, like Ultimate X, Lockdown, stuff like that. But other than that, I don't see Vince buying it. I personally see Jeff Jarrett coming in and say, "Bitch, give me my company back," and throwing Dixie the hell out.
You know what? He
and
has
rebranding it.
Yeah, you know what? He does have a lot more motive for wanting to pretty much buy the company out from underneath Dixie. I have to agree with him, Joe. He could, for one thing, I mean, I'm not just so sure about buying the library, but maybe even the roster. Maybe some of the roster would want to go back and work with Jeff. What do you think about that?
You know what? That's a perfect scenario. Right now, what better way to take off his Global Force Wrestling than to wait for the right moment, buy TNA out from Dixie. Here, Janice Carter. Here's a $1.50, a bologna sandwich, and a can of Pepsi.
And a fart in the wind.
And she'll say, "Deal." Give him the keys. Dixie will come crying, "But Mom," and that'll be the end of it. And I can see him doing a whole, because Jeff Jarrett likes doing things big. Can you imagine? He buys TNA on Thursday night. He comes out there dressed up, and everybody's, "What the hell is this?" And he says, "There's a new movement. I have TNA." And you know what? TNA has been ruined by a woman who doesn't know the business. I trusted these people. They did not know how to run it. He says, "Tonight, we're going to do one thing that Dixie couldn't do." And some of the TNA guys come out in TNA T-shirts. They take them off, throw them in a trash can, and they start taking the banners down from the ring, unveil Global Force Wrestling, and can take the contract on Spike and keep going with it. Jeff Jarrett has more connections than we realized. So he could just go back to Spike and say, "Look, I usually used to run the company. We used to do business. Let's do this." I can guarantee you they'll work with anybody to have wrestling on their network. And Jeff will take it over.
Now, while we're pretty much ranting on TNA, we saw something else happen last week on Impact, and of course, this was MVP going heel. Now, I really was trying to be on, the Impact bandwagon until this happened. Then I just saw, oh my God, this is Triple H all over the place. First they had, EY, which, okay, everybody's saying, this is Daniel Bryan. They have Abyss who's saying it's like Kane. And now it's like, what are they doing?
Rick, let me jump in here, because I know I've been talking a lot in the moment, but I gotta let this out.
Go away, have at it.
And the fans can say I totally hate TNA. I hate what the management is doing. Again, why bring MVP in to do the same Triple H deal? Why mimic every single thing? There was even a tweet that became famous that a fan asked Dixie, "Why are you copying WWE? It's that obvious." And she says, "You know what? We're not copying WWE." Bullshit. You're seeing it. You're copying the storylines. You gave a bearded guy, a young, in appearance, a young bearded guy, the title. Then you have him feud with a big mask guy who's dangerous, and now you have a general manager or investor, whatever you want to call him, taking on the bearded champion.
Yeah, I believe the actual tweet that you're referring to, it says, "Holy shitballs at TNA Dixie." Why your ratings are so drowning is because you're completely copying WWE storylines. And Dixie Carter responded said, "Holy shitballs, that's funny, but you have it wrong." And you know what? I'm starting to agree with you. It's completely 100% obvious. And it's sad.
If the fans are noticing it, and you know what? It's obvious that everybody's going to see it. I don't care who had the beard first. I don't care who had the mask first. The point is, you can tune into one channel. You could tune in and see Raw and see a bearded champion fighting a masked red guy, okay, a monster. Then you tune in to Thursday Night Impact, and what do you see? A bearded guy, a generic bearded guy. I'm sorry, EY's a great talent, but he's a generic wrestler versus a generic version. This is a Dollar General store. And what happened is the proprietor bought $2 Dollar General wrestlers, put them together, and say, "Hey guys, watch this. I got my bearded generic wrestler versus my generic masked creature." And why is fans are going to see this when they can easily tune into Raw, see a way better package deal, see better lighting, better arena feel, a better product overall, better produced shows? Lance, if you compare both shows, what do you think? Would you going to watch a generic version of these characters, or would you rather watch a better product?
Well, way I kind of see it, WWE is better written, but the actual in-ring work, to me, TNA's got it better, so I'm just confused.
Well, yeah, like I said, TNA,
which side to pick?
We've never denied as to which one's better. The TNA has a better in-ring production. We've never denied that the wrestlers were better. Were great. We've always said it was the creativity, and the management that was fucked up. But now we're talking about TNA just copying, and I'm afraid with Bobby Roode's gone on management, I'm afraid he's gonna come back with bleached blonde hair and wearing pink. Creating Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, again, it's nobody in that company sits back and turns off Raw. I believe everybody in management sits down and just watches Raw. Okay, as a foreign promoter, you want to see what your competition is doing. You want to see what you can get away with. But if they're doing it this way, and your group is going to appear as generic copycats, then what you're going to do is take it away from a different perspective and do a bunch of storylines in the opposite direction. Do something else. Get away from it. They have the talent. It's a coin toss. Lately, it's been a coin toss when it comes to talent because, The Shield, Daniel Bryan, the Wyatts, you can keep going on the list. It's just Cesaro. You can go on. And the WWE has good, strong talent. What TNA has is a bunch of indie guys who are trying their best to get noticed in a company that's not doing anything with them. That's the problem. That's why no matter what, the fans are going to see them as generic dollar store wrestlers. That's all they're going to be until a real person takes over the company and starts pushing them out in the market. And say, this guy is as good as Daniel Bryan. This guy is as good as Kane. This guy is good as Cesaro. They don't do that. And Dixie has been flushing the company slowly and slowly. She's taking the longest shit ever and slowly flushing it at the same time.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there. And sooner or later, the whole company is just going to go right down the toilet. It's a matter of time. Anybody else? James? Oh, James not here. Bay, your thoughts?
What was the topic again? Sorry.
The topic is, pretty much about TNA copying WWE.
Oh, I'm just going to make this short to the point. TNA was never creative to begin with, excuse the background. Copying storylines and just reenacting things from the past. Come on, now, this is an utter joke.
Shut with my fucking mouse.
As we welcome Andy in the middle of my segment. What's going on, sir? But yeah, Rick, basically, fellas, TNA will never be original where they stand. We can sit here all night and talk about TNA, but Joe took half of what I was about to say. But no, truthfully, look what's going on at TNA, fellas. Let's be honest. Personnel's leaving. Some of their superstars are leaving. All the frustration has raised its course. The million-dollar question is, will they recover from all this? Simply, no.
As we welcome Andy into the moment, hey, you son of a bitch, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've just had a problem with my mouse. I kept clicking on answer and nothing had happened, so I've had to find quickly a hardwired mouse. My God, Jurassic Park is back. I think my battery's going in my wireless mouse. That's what it is. It's just not functioning properly. When I'm not touching the keys, it's wandering all over the screen. So I think I need a new set of batteries in my mouse.
Well, speaking of changing, why don't we change course now that we got the whole crew here? Last week we were talking about Batista and how he was really upset with not wanting to job out to Daniel Bryan, who's now injured. We'll be getting to that during our main show, so make sure you join us on Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Apparently that's not entirely the case. There are now confirmed reports that Batista not have had an issue working with Daniel Bryan, as previously reported. This is what he had to say. WWE wants that story out, but it's all twisted. Batista would do 5 jobs with Daniel Bryan, but they fucked him in money, booking, broken promises, and related to his schedule, promoting his outside projects. Had that not happened, he would be around until late June, but because Vince McMahon fucked him, he's not, so they dragged Daniel Bryan to vilify Batista. Daniel is beloved and a martyr, so he benefits, but it has nothing to do with jobbing. They've twisted it. It's a classic Vince. Look at the Ultimate Warrior in SummerSlam. Bret Hart in Montreal. Vince puts his narrative, and there are always 2 sides. Now, last week, Joe, I asked you if it was all about money, if it was about ego, or if it was about the internet, and you pretty much thought it was about ego. I'm going to ask you again. Now, do you think it's about the ego, or do you think it's about the internet?
You know what? It's more about ego, and I stick to it. Because money, they can give him as much money as possible. Money is not the object. Here, the problem here is, I believe Triple H offered him a big deal. I honestly believe they sat Batista down and says, we'll give you a run we'll let you win the Royal Rumble, which he did, and we'll put you in the main event at WrestleMania, which they did, but you're walking out with the world title, which they didn't. I think that, and then obvious rematches and all that stuff, he probably just got pissed off because they failed to follow through what they promised. So, and again, if you look at this as a true fight, Batista will kill Daniel Bryan, okay? Daniel might get a good couple of shots, but there's no way he could beat Batista. That's like Spike Dudley going up against Brock Lesnar in an MMA fight, and little Spike walks out. No. That's like Dixie Carter being a wrestling genius and Lindsay Lohan coming out and being a student guidance counselor. It just doesn't work.
Point taken.
Yeah, so that's pretty much, it's all ego. I think they promised him something and he just, they didn't give it to him. And then they wanted him to lose to a small guy, and he probably felt that's going to just cripple his worth. Okay.
Lance, you hearing this, what do you think about all this?
Well, I think everybody's heard this. There's 3 stories to every story. There's his story, Vince's story, and the real story. I think both of them are jackasses, and, well, they're both in the wrong.
Andy, now I'm going to bring it to you. Do you think this is all about the internet, or do you think this is Vince trying to fuck Batista, or do you think Batista's just being a bitch about it?
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of playing on the internet to see what kind of rise they can get from it, because they seem to be doing quite a bit on the internet as of late. And I think Batista was probably, well, I don't think probable about it. They brought Batista back thinking, this is my opinion now, thinking he's going to be bigger and better accepted by the fans. And I think the fans have sort of probably caught Vince on the hop, and he's thought, oh my God, they don't like the guy. They really are bitching about the guy. What are we going to do? We've made a WrestleMania main event for the guy, and they just don't want to see it. And they had to quickly change it round. And I think they've promised him everything, and now they're probably in negotiations and saying, look, it's not us. The crowd aren't buying your gimmick anymore. Whether they don't like it because you walked away and went to UFC, wherever it was, MMA, but they're just not buying it anymore. They're not buying it as we thought they would. So I really think it's caught Vince on the up, and they've had to do a lot of chopping and changing with storylines. Hence, that's why they gave him a good match, supposedly, on Raw this week. I think they feel as though they've got to give him something to keep him sweet, and I also think that's probably another reason why Daniel Bryan's taking a bit of a sick leave, so Batista can have a bit of limelight, because at the moment it's all Daniel Bryan.
All right, well, let's move on to...
Oh, and I've got to say this, because I know you've been prompting for it. What the hell is Viscera's wife doing again?
Oh, we are going to talk about that tonight. Later on tonight on the main show, I have all the dirt for you, Andy. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We're going to have the rant just for you.
We have the page.
We have the spot just for you on tonight, Andy, and you can talk all about that. But we got to get on to the Raw's highs and lows. And this week, there were really a lot of lows, guys. I'm sorry. First, they had Adam Rose and Zeb Coulter's deportation list. What the fuck is this guy doing? Can somebody please tell me what is Adam Rose doing?
Creative got high, creative got high, creative got high.
Is
something.
I know that Sean Waltman, X-Pac, is still backstage doing bits and bobs. Did he write that storyline?
I don't know. He must have done something. I have no idea who did, to be honest. Basically what happens is during the match, it's an RVD and Jack Swagger's about to do a match. Adam Rose comes out with his little crowd. I don't even know the name of the crowd. Comes out, and Swagger gets distracted. RVD kicks him to the head. Then the frog starts frog splash, and the match is over. And I'm like, oh my god, it was pitiful, guys. Absolutely, it was junk. Anybody else want to comment on this?
Deadly silence.
Yeah, then we had to go on to Sheamus. We had not one, but two matches against Curtis Axel and his tag team partner, Ryback, back-to-back guys. Are they trying to have some kind of proof of, legitimacy to the United States title? What do you guys think about this?
I think it's about time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who it was that actually said it in an interview, but they said it's about time that they sort of got the US title back to where it was, a respectable belt. And I think it was Wade Barrett that actually said it, to be honest. And
yeah.
I think it's true. It is a belt that's been neglected, and to be honest, it's been passed around like a joke over the last couple of years, and it's about time that someone with a bit of credibility is actually holding it for a change.
I absolutely have to agree with you there. And it's just... when Dean Ambrose had it, he did nothing with it. He had it for almost 6 to 8 months, and he really didn't defend it. It was just kind of set almost dormant. Keep in mind, the title wasn't really defended for those two matches, but I think it's what he's trying to do is trying to get it up to that level. Joe, what are your thoughts?
One thing I gotta say, it's good to see those belts moving around. What they're trying to do is, again, legitimize. I think what they're going to do next WrestleMania is, or probably even this year, they're probably going to try to legitimize both belts to do champion versus champion to unite the belts. I think that's why you're seeing now finally the belts moving. You're seeing different challengers. And, it's such a good thing to see. It's a refreshing thing. It's that title has more history than the Intercontinental title does. I'm not saying it's just it's more prestigious than it, because there's been great Intercontinental champions. But the U.S. belt had so many great wrestlers hold it, you just can't ignore it. So I hope they really keep going with this.
Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, those middle titles really do make those bigger, the heavyweight title shine a little bit more, and I'm hoping they start using it a little bit more often. Moving on now to the next match, Hacksaw was in the middle. He was trying to promote, I think it was Legends House. Rusev comes out, threatens to pretty much kick his ass. Big E sprints down, and I'm thinking, oh, wow, finally we're going to see somebody contest against Rusev. And Rusev just plants this motherfucker. Now, guys, I don't know what that says about Big E. Well, actually, what does it say about Big E? What's it say about Rusev? Anybody want to chip in?
Yeah, it's good to see Big E Webster finally in the job squad.
You know, I have to agree. That basically does put him in the job squad. Will, over to you.
Oh, God. I'm going to say is, I'll see you in your future endeavors.
And James, welcome to In the Moment. We were just talking about some of the Raw's highs and lows, and we just got onto the segment of where Big E got his ass kicked by Rusev.
Racism.
All I gotta say is face palm. What the hell? That's all. Oh yeah. If y'all hear like wind, I'm outside.
Oh, okay. Are you waiting for the bus?
He's looking at the homeless people.
This is the Hardcore Wrestling Radio weather report. Let's go to James in the field. How you doing, James? Tell us how the weather is.
It is very cloudy. It looks like it's gonna rain. It's windy. It's not as windy as it was earlier, but the winds are dying down.
I've just got one question for you, James. Is it cold out?
It's a good breeze. Yeah, it's colder than yesterday. Let's say that.
Well, put it away then.
Shut up.
And that whistle you keep hearing, fans, it's the police. They're chasing James. He's stalking
No,
Keystone Cops.
No. As I said, I'm at flag football right now. I got called to drop off some stuff at the field. Two boxes of shirts for teams.
Moving on, we are going to talk about Wyatt, how he challenged John Cena to a last man standing match. Now, Andy, I know how you are a big John Cena fan. How do you see this working out at Payback?
I just think they're giving John Cena matches for the sake of giving him matches, to be honest, and it's just... He's done everything he can do. Why can't they just try and give the other guys a push? Can't they sort of, like, drop Cena off the pay-per-view cards a bit more? Because I don't even think he wants them anymore. I think his will to pursue anything any further is going. He doesn't seem to perform as well in the ring as he used to, whether that's his age or injury or he's just lack of interest. I think he's done what he wanted to do. He's the biggest thing in wrestling for the last 10 years, and he's done everything he can. And I just don't see him now as a main. He's a bit, to me now, he's a bit like Hulk Hogan. He's one of them people you look forward to seeing occasionally, but even I'm sick of seeing the guy on a regular basis. It's getting a bit old that now.
Joe, now, Cena, for the most part, last man standing matches, unless if it's been like a heel win where his like legs have been taped down, has won a last man standing match. Do you see Wyatt winning this match, or do you see him heel winning this match?
I actually see Wyatt winning this match, and that's going to be a shocker. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make Bray Wyatt look a lot better and slowly phasing out Cena. Not phasing him out of existence. I think they're going to phase him out to a point where they're going to do a storyline injury, and it's going to take him off WWE TV and pay-per-views for a while, bring him back at SummerSlam, and see if the fans still care about him. So that's why I think you're still seeing the Cena-Wyatt battles, because I think they're trying to do it to a point where they can phase Cena out. So imagine if they actually do something and beat the living hell out of him. The entire Wire family beats him up and then tosses him, tapes him, sews him to the mat, and he can't get back up. That he's just going to be sent home and you won't see him until SummerSlam. Oh, and I got one thing for you. I actually found Sister Abigail.
Really?
Yes. The Wyatts, or should I say not the Wyatt, Bray Wyatt, well, the Rotundo family do have, the Bray Wyatt, Bo Dallas, they do have a sister named Mika Rotunda. And they said that if it ever came down to it, that if she decides to go in wrestling, she's going to be the perfect Sister Abigail. And in fact, I'm sharing that picture with you guys here of what she looks like. Rick, I'm sure you can upload that for the fans to see.
Okay.
Can I say a quick thing about John Cena last man standing matches?
Damn!
Sure.
The last time John Cena was in a last man standing match was against Ryback at Extreme Rules 2013. That went to a no contest because both of them were unable to continue.
Huh.
I just have to say this. Giggity, giggity.
Wow, yeah, I have to agree. She can be freaky on both sides.
Yeah.
Good and him. Yeah. Wow.
She reminds me a lot of Daphne.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move on to our final Raw segment, which was Cody Rhodes. He was in a match against one of his former tag team partner, Damien Sandow. Now, Damien Sandow is a heel, but Cody actually raked Damien Sandow's eyes to get the win. Then he followed up with the disaster kick. Now, that's pretty much a heel maneuver, guys. We've been talking about how we see, is this a sign of Cody, pretty much turning heel? Joe, over to you.
I certainly hope not. The guy went from oblivion in his career to teaming up with Goldust to having a resurgence in his career. For them to play off that he has a temper, that he's losing it, that he's upset with losing, it's just going to kill his career again, and you're just going to see him back where he was before he teamed up with Goldust. Jobber status, nobody's going to give a damn. I'm sorry, he needs Goldust in his corner.
Will, over to you.
Oh, wow. Well, those tactics we didn't see coming. And didn't we talk about this back in December of how they're supposed to have a match at WrestleMania, but it never happened? Yeah, so I seen that move, and it wasn't really obvious, but I mean, everybody's waiting for the brother versus brother match to happen. I mean, Cody is the obvious heel here. I think this will be Goldust's final year, and if Goldust could put Cody over, then, it would be a good way to have him go back as a heel. And I think he's better as a heel than a face if you really ask my honest opinion. But I would look forward to having them fight right around SummerSlam. But let's see how this goes.
All right. And Lance, over to you.
Well, honestly, knowing how Goldust works when he's heel, I don't think that WWE could actually get a heel Goldust over on TV, because he, let's face it, works a little androgynous / perverse, and I don't think the censors will allow that nowadays. So Cody has to be heel.
Well, you know what? Actually, it does bring up an interesting question, Andy. Could we possibly see the Rhodes brothers both turn heel? Because it didn't look like, his brother Cody, his brother Goldust did approve.
When I see Cody on his own now, he just strikes me as a crybaby, which is what he was 2 or 3 years ago. And I agree with Joe. It'll kill his career. Without a doubt, it will kill his career.
Yeah. Lance, over to you. What do you think? Do you think both the Rhodes brothers will turn together, or do we just see them splitting?
Well, I never thought about it, but it would spice up the gimmick.
Well, I think we're going to wrap things up here now. We want to make sure you can put your comments in the comment section below. Of course, please like and subscribe this page over at youtube.com/HWR show.
Yep.
So, Joe, where can everyone find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at JKnightManager. That's Knight with a K. You can also find me on Facebook at Joseph Knight Manager. I got a couple of things going. You're going to see soon a little YouTube series I'm going to start putting up. It's going to talk about different classic things. So tune in, and that's pretty much it, Rick.
Vintage.
Right.
Vintage. There you go. You know, I don't like that term vintage. It makes me feel like I'm ancient. Just because I was around when Hulk Hogan won the belt from the Iron Sheik doesn't mean I'm old.
We have the incomparable Lance Moss in the house, and you can find him at youtube.com/LanceMossTV. Lance, what do you got going on?
Album reviews, NASCAR reviews, Redneck Woman cooking videos, and where it was popping in my head. And since Joe brought him up,
Cheeky baby.
We have the iVlog tag team in the house. First, He's the Bay Area MVP, known as Will, and his tag team from the Big Easy, he's James. Guys, what do you got going on?
Just tackled James for his cheeseburger, and now he's sad.
Let's see. Well, if I'm not on the field, I will be on iVlog.tv/user/fatboy504. MVP would advertise his thing. Oh, not a touch.
And that whistle again is the cops chasing James because he's stalking another diva. Run, Summer Rae, run!
Hey, I'm not stalking anybody. I'm on a football field.
And we always love to thank the son of a bitch Andy for coming on, and you can find him at www.stokehaunted.com. And always, you can find us at our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And once again, please subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/HWR Show. So for everyone here, I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you. Thank you for listening to this edition of In the Moment. Be sure to check out our page at facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio, and please subscribe to us at our YouTube page at youtube.com/HWR Show. Until the next time, this is the hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.